Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for today's episode of Real Estate Disruptors. Today we have my great friends Pace Morby, Jamil Damji, repeat offenders for this show. They got three-peat over here. Wow, and we got a very special message today. If this is your first time tuning in, I am Steve Trang, broker and owner of Stunning Homes Realty, founder of the Offer Fast Homes app, the only MLS for off-market wholesale properties. And I'm on a mission to create 100 millionaires. So if you'd like to join us, let's connect on Instagram at steve.trang. If you're excited for today's show, please give me a wave, give me a thumbs up. And as a friendly reminder, I don't charge a dime for this show. I don't make any money doing this, so here's all I ask. This is what it costs for you to listen to this show. I've been advised by a consultant I need to get the 500 5-star reviews on iTunes to hit some of my crazy goals. So please do me a favor, go into iTunes, subscribe, and give a 5-star review. And if you can write what you like about the show, that'll be even better. This is a live show. Pace and Jamil have agreed to be completely vulnerable and transparent.
100%.
So, ask your questions for them to answer. You ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right. So, I guess we'll just start off right off the bat. You know, I just waking up this morning, I saw a whole bunch of posts about collaboration, and there's the hashtag collaboration.
Right. Can I jump into that real quick?
Do it.
I'm looking right at you.
So yesterday, Jamil was on a show. He was actually on Antoine's show. Amazing. Did a great job. Both of you guys did a really good job. But Jamil said something really specific. He said, if you have a problem with somebody making money or them taking care of their family because it was a deal that you should have got in your mind, you need to change your heart. And I knew we were coming on the show to talk about this. But it just impacted me so hard this morning, and I was looking at a couple of things, and I just started looking. Actually, you know what I looked for was I looked at our photo in Dallas where you were wearing your suit. You were looking sharp.
Thank you.
And I was looking for that photo, and through that I started looking at all these people that we get to hang out with and we get to collaborate and do deals with, and I'm like, these are technically my competitors.
Yeah.
I was so blown away by it that I just decided to blast all over Instagram and just tell everybody, technically these are my competitors, but together because of the way we actually act, not like competitors, but we actually make money together. And then when we ran together, I told you, there's no doubt you made me $1 million plus this year just because of who you are.
Wow.
That's crazy. But you're my competitor.
Yeah. Absolutely, we're competitors.
So that was the reason I blasted Instagram, and I was talking about collaboration and all that stuff, besides the fact of why we're here.
We're competing on a deal not that long ago.
Oh, yeah, you called me. I was in West Palm Beach, and you said, we have a problem.
Right.
You know who doesn't have a problem there? Keegley, because we'll get to sell it.
Oh!
Right. Absolutely, 100%.
That's right. Beautiful.
But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, though, right? I mean, how many transactions are you doing? How many transactions are we doing?
Yeah.
And that's the first time that we've ever actually bumped into each other,
right?
Talking to the same homeowner.
Really good point.
Right. So I think that's something that, to put perspective, we always say there's more than enough opportunities out there.
Right.
And that's the reason why we act the way we do.
What was crazy about that as well is that when you called me and you said, hey, we have a problem, because we have a loving relationship, we truly did have a problem. But we worked it out with a 5-minute phone call, and at the end, everybody wins, everybody's happy.
Yep. Right.
Whereas when there's other people in town that they don't have the collaboration heart, there is no phone call.
Yeah.
It's just lawyers and this and that and animosity and whatever, blocking each other on Instagram and Facebook, and that really is not the nature of our city.
Yeah.
Right? City of Phoenix is a completely different city, and so it's fun to be able to have those phone calls and solve stuff in one phone call.
And what's terrible is I knew he was busy, right, in West Palm Beach with Tom Kroll and some of those other like big stars.
I was with Brent and all these guys. They were all ordering dinner, and I'm out in the parking lot of this fancy restaurant talking to you to solve that problem.
But the text message to Pace, because I knew he was busy, was like, hey, we have a problem.
Of course.
And you know he's going to call you.
100%. Oh my gosh.
100%.
Total dick move.
But you want,
to add to that, you know, looking at the way that we operate in Phoenix, right? So Pace and I have a great relationship, other wholesalers that we work with as well. And I brought this up on Antoine's show yesterday too, and I'd love to bring it up again. We literally are getting sent addresses from people before they've got the deal locked up, before they've got any contract, they are the most vulnerable situation that they could possibly be in, and they're sending us a lead.
Right.
Now, you can look at this in two ways. You can be like, hey, I'm going to be that super jerky dude, and I'm going to take this address, and I'm going to go be super subversive and terrible and try to snake the guy. Yeah, try to snake the guy, and that happens one time, and that's the end of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
or you can actually deliver a service and be helpful and not knife your friends and collaborators in the back, and just find ways to win together. Right. I think, and I'm going to share an example here. When Pace and I, started doing a lot more deals together, we started finding that there was so much entanglement between people we worked with that it was tough to understand, well, who works with you, who works with me, and how does this work, and what happens when a guy who sends a deal to Pace, who typically would send a deal to me, sends a deal to Pace buys it, and then does he feel weird about that? Do I feel weird about that? And that was happening, right? And we got to a point where it was happening, enough times, right? And you can look at this and have two opinions about it. I could sit there and be irritated, or when it's happening to him, he could be irritated, and we could be irritated with each other. And then when we're in each other's presence, we're going to be irritating, and that's just going to suck, right? Or we can say, and for me, when the first time that happened, the first instance that happened to me, I gut checked myself, and the moment anything outside of love for my friend and brother to get out there and feed his family and be able to crush it, anything else that was outside of that feeling, it had to go, because my focus is on, look, all of that's coming from fear. Anything why should I be scared if somebody I work with sent Pace a deal? It's not feared. That's not a fear thing for me. Yeah. That is, okay, maybe he had more of an opportunity. Maybe he woke up earlier. Maybe he was on his Instagram earlier. He got the worm before I did, hands down. And instead of looking at his plate and seeing, sussing out what's on his fork and what he's chewing on, focus on me, love my bro, and everything will work itself out.
Now, I completely agree with this, right? But I think it's a lot easier said than done. This is mostly a foreign concept.
Yes.
So what exercises, what are your mantras, what are you doing to put your head in the right place?
Can I answer that? So I think when we were in Houston at the whole scaling event, and I was on stage and I did that contest, right? Jamil was the one who chose JJ Simmons and
Jonathan.
Yeah. So I'm up on stage. I say, hey, whoever asked the best question, come out to Arizona, right? We're going to pay for your trip, and you're going to come out and do a ride-along, visit Keegley, visit Brent Daniels, the studio, all that stuff.
Right.
JJ Simmons had such a great question. His question was basically, I don't naturally come from that place. And I think the answer to why people don't naturally come from that place is because they haven't seen the fruits that it actually bears when you do.
Yeah.
And so the advantage that we have is that because we are brothers, just because we're friends, regardless of business, we naturally do business together. And what happens is the fruits start bearing, and what happens is it just perpetuates this amazing cycle of more and more deals and sharing things back and forth of like, oh, you know what, that might not be a great deal for me. These guys are a better fit for that. Or, hey, I know Pace buys subject to, call Pace. Right? So now we figure out how to work with each other because we know it actually benefits us long term. Right. In fact, the guys in town that have that attitude of what Jamil was talking about, that say, I'm going to take your address and I'm going to go around you, those guys don't stay in business long.
They don't last.
They've been driven out of town.
Yeah.
And
you watch what happens in our industry. Our town is continually getting better and better and better. The people that we collaborate and hang out with is getting better and better and better. It's like your mastermind or Brandon Simmons' mastermind, the two best masterminds ever, by the way. The collaboration inside of those circles is so unbelievable. Right. I can't imagine anything else. So that's just how Phoenix is.
When Brandon Simmons starts his mastermind at Go Giver, right, the first thing he asks is, who in here has done a deal with each other? And if you look, every hand is up, right?
I don't have enough hands.
Yeah, right. So that in itself is telling.
Yeah.
If I walked into a mastermind or a RIA in a different town, because we hear this, right? When we travel together, the three of us, and we go to places, what's the one thing that people say? The energy of the Phoenix people is intense. You guys are so loving. It's so different from what we have.
Right.
It makes me look at it and say, well, how animalistic is it in these other places, right? Like how dirty can it get?
Well, you know what's crazy, is that I can't remember who asked us, like, man, that's so awesome that, your entire team came and flew out together. We're like, No, we're
We're
not.
all competitors.
Yeah.
We're flying and driving
Yeah.
together and hanging out.
Yeah, eating
and
dinner.
And the whole time we're driving in the Suburban together, we're texting each other deals and sharing and making money together.
Yeah.
Right. When you and I were driving to the Propeller studio, when that horrific Uber,
Yep.
we were selling deals to each other.
Right.
I'm on the phone with Max, like, well, Pace, I'm negotiating with you in the back seat.
It's crazy town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the same event, I was sitting it was actually Max Maxwell's event.
Mhm.
We were sitting at our table, and I was sitting across from Jamil, and I was selling a multi-unit
Yeah, we
deal
did it.
to him.
We
yeah,
did
While
a
we were
deal
there.
right, just sitting
Yeah.
there doing.
we
a
made
deal.
like 45 grand sitting at this table, together.
I mean, that's the power, right?
Right.
And I feel because of that, and because I've sensed city to city that we've gone to, it's broken.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not because of anybody or anything, right? It was broken here too.
Yeah.
It just evolved into something better. And I think that there's tools, and you'd asked what are some of those tools, right?
Right.
Self-awareness, first of all. Let's be real. If you can't really true, okay, you've seen those situations where somebody wins and everybody hears about it and you get 5 smiles,
Right.
right? Do you think there's 5 hearts that feel that smile?
Not naturally. No.
Maybe 1 or 2.
Right.
But 3 of them are like,
Yeah.
yeah, so happy, right? So if you feel that in yourself, you're not bad. Doesn't make you wrong. It means that you're still living in a survival mind. You're still living from this place of there's not enough, and I gotta hoard, and I gotta keep, and go, me. That's okay. Read some books, right? Understand what abundance is, right? Just there's so many books on it. Take a 5-minute app break and go download a meditation app, and mantra to yourself, I live in abundance. I live in abundance. I have an abundance mind. If you don't change yourself, focus on the opposite of what you're actually feeling, and it'll become that.
Yeah.
Anytime you're negative, think about, like, if you've done something to me that I feel, okay, I'm mad at Steve right now, right? Not that that's happened, but let's imagine it did. If I'm mad at Steve, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mentally focus on what I love about Steve, and that's all I'm going to think about.
Yeah.
Then naturally, whatever it was that was bothering me falls off.
Right.
So I think the first key is be self-aware and know that nothing is static. If you feel this way right now, focus on the exact opposite and you change it.
Yeah. I think there's a quote I read, and this is really one of those, cheesy Instagram memes, whatever.
Probably on my page.
Could be. Maybe you know who posted that, because I can't remember for the life of me. It was, the only time you should be looking in your neighbor's bowl is to see if there's enough food in there.
Wow.
Right. And that's the abundance mindset. And I think, going back to we know that you need the abundance mindset to win. We know that, right? We've experienced it. But how does someone, we can say it and we can preach it, and they're going to be like, these are just weirdos. Yeah, foo-foo. Yeah, how does someone?
I'm going to answer that just from a personal experience,
Yeah.
or from my personal side. So in my iPhone, I have to drop the word iPhone. Anybody that knows me, Android hater extraordinaire over here. But in my iPhone, I've got a Notes app, and in that Notes app, I've got my personal goals, right?
Yeah.
And they all relate to basically taking care of my family at the end of the day. But one of those goals specifically says, this is one of my goals, too many opportunities, not enough time. Okay, and a year ago, anybody that knows me saw the transformation of where I was a year ago and where I am today. 100% of that I can equate to my relationships. 100% of that is my relationships, but what I put into those relationships, as I hope you guys can attest, I read The Go-Giver 2 years ago. Before I ever even knew Brandon Simmons, I had read it, and then Brandon had me read it again. But in The Go-Giver, it basically said, you have to give to receive, right? So I said, I want so many opportunities that time is my problem, right? Most people out there are saying, I want more opportunities. I have too much time. I want more opportunities. I want to fill my calendar. I'm the opposite. I now am hiring people specifically to handle all of the opportunities I have in abundance, because I believe, and this is not me trying to gloat, I spend 80% of my day trying to help other people get from their position into a new position.
Yeah.
And it started out just because I had resources in construction, or I had resources with a lender, I had resources with whatever. And I just said, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. And now, a year later, a lot of these relationships are bearing fruit. For example, when you and I first started our relationship, what was that relationship? I was your contractor.
You're my contractor.
Right. And did we provide a good service to you?
Yeah.
I did crap for you nobody else wanted to do.
Yeah. No, my client's like, hey, I need my roof looked at. And you came out, I was like, dude, that's a $600 job. But I'm happy to do it.
Right.
Right. Just think of me, remember me when there are bigger jobs, but you were happy to do the crap jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was running around all over town doing things. I had 65 projects going at that time. I made sure I took care of you, even though it was a new relationship for us. And then as I made my transition into wholesale, the number one person that helped me in wholesale was Jamil.
Right.
The number two person that helped me not just in wholesale, but in my personal life, like my wife sits in our house or when we're on dates and she's just like, we are so lucky to have Steve in our life. And it started from me giving value to you.
Yeah.
I hope.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely did. And I think the other thing too, right? Like we're talking about collaboration, and we're not just trying to like,
force feed.
Or we're not trying to like, just like blow ourselves up, but I'll just give a perfect example for you guys that don't know. Jamil's got his own title company. I've got my own title company. And this morning, Pace is in our title company's office helping me map out how to make a better title company. Right? With no benefit to you. You're not getting any monetary benefit, but you're like, man, if you could do this, this, and this, you guys will blow it out of the water.
Right.
And I think that just goes back to, that abundance mindset. Like you could be going out there like trying to stop this. Like, no, everyone should be sending it to my title company.
Right.
But you're not even.
Dude, when he called me and told me that he was going to be bringing deals and that you guys were working something out for an assistant and whatnot, right away the first question is, hey man, what if I do like half here and half there? And I'm like, no, bro.
Literally, this was a conversation.
Yeah,
I forgot all about
this.
He's
like, what if I do half at Magnus East and half at Magnus West?
Yeah.
And I said, no. Steve is going out of his way to be extremely helpful to you. He really wants your business, and he's going above and beyond, right? All Magnus East.
Yeah.
Go that path. Because I know that doesn't matter to me. That to me is not going to hurt me. I want to see you succeed. I want to see your title company do well. There's so many benefits that we all get from that title company being
100%.
Yeah, well funded, because we get the meetups and so many amazing opportunities come our way. I mean, dude, he's in a relationship right now with Greg, right? Greg Ellsworth. His subject to these guys are buying subject twos left, right, and center. Pace was telling me this morning he walked into a house in Tempe.
Dude, I could cry. I could almost cry right now.
He had to pay no money for. He walked into home ownership with it. It gets cash flowing you how much?
Probably $400 a month.
$400 a month in perpetuity through a relationship that I introduced him in, right? And this is a relationship that he's probably going to make millions and millions of dollars with over years and years and years. And what I say to him is, I'm so happy, I love you. I'm so thankful that you guys connected and you guys are able to do business together. Yeah. Full stop.
I was in your meetup, which is hands down best meetup in the country, I feel. Amazing. I was in your meetup. And I go up to Jamil, and Jamil sells me probably one of my best cash flowing properties. I just walked up to him and I say, what do you have, right? Sells me a house right there before it goes on his list. Great benefit there. Then that meetup, I think that was at the Phoenix RIA. So we were at the Phoenix RIA, and Jamil goes, there's Greg, there's Pace, these two guys need to meet. Right? And Greg was doing his own thing, but when you put him and I together, he went from buying maybe 1 or 2 houses a month to now we're buying 12 houses a month.
Wow.
And we have private money coming in like crazy. We have a great system. You guys see how many houses we're buying.
Yeah.
I mean, we've like overwhelmed the title companies that we're utilizing.
Companies, plural.
Right. So we've overwhelmed them with how many we're buying. And bro, I am not joking. It will make me $10, $20 million in my life because of a relationship you gave to me that you could have easily just taken for yourself.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
So you want to pass this message on to other parts of the country.
It doesn't feel like work. It feels like we have a cheat code to life. It feels like we have the ability to go out and just play this amazing, fun video game and just go play and go, how can we help you? And how can we help you? And how can we help you? And when we go into other cities, it's crazy. Like we went into Dallas, we went to the Propelio event. Shout out to those guys, amazing guys.
Yep.
We go to this event and we're sitting there talking to these guys and we're like, there were these little clumps and clusters of people kind of staying away from each other, and we're grabbing people from other groups and bringing them together and saying, why are you guys doing deals together right here at this event?
Yeah.
Right? At least to the magnitude at your event and Phoenix RIA and other events here locally in our Phoenix market. It is so fun to take what I haven't created this. I'm just a little cog in the wheel. I've benefited from a lot of these relationships that have created this world that Phoenix gets to live in. I just want to go out and share it with the rest of the country.
So how what's the plan? How are we going to share it with the rest of the country?
Well, you ready?
Yeah.
So the graphic that has been being shared over and over and over and over and over again all over social media. So that's a real thing. Pace and Jamil do America. We want to see you. We want to meet you. We want to come to your RIA. What we would like you to do is, if you live in a town that's broken, where you feel that people aren't collaborating, that you've got you have to watch your back, that it's cutthroat, that it's dog eat dog. If any of those words resonate with you, find us on Instagram, tag us, tag your RIA, so that we know where you are and what RIA you want us to attend. We will reach out to the organizers of that RIA, and we will come to your city. Yeah. We will meet with your groups. We will sit down with you, and we will figure out how can you all benefit each other, how can you make money together, and how can you adopt the mentality and the energy that we have in this city in your own town.
Yeah.
Not only that, we'll also talk about the beautiful things that we do, like how we're great at dispositions and how Pace is awesome at subject to. We might even do some ride-alongs. So we're going to bring with us the added information that we typically love to talk about. But first and foremost, it's going to be how can we mend whatever is happening that's causing you guys not to work with one another. Right. Why? Let's deal with the heart of the matter, and then we'll deal with everything else.
You know what's amazing about our local market is that I've been in other businesses and I've gone to other RIAs or whatever across the country in real estate, and it doesn't seem like people are excited to be at these events.
They're not.
They almost are like, should I go? Shouldn't I go? I got a, Netflix. I got this great show. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna catch up on. Excuse. For us, it feels like at our meetups and when we're all together in Phoenix, it's not even a question whether I'm going or not.
Yeah.
It is on my calendar. I'm going.
It's like I feel like how I felt in middle school going to the school dance.
100%.
Like that's how much I'm looking forward to it, because I get to see all my friends and we're gonna chat and we're gonna eat whatever food.
And everybody's sitting there doing deals.
Yeah,
and what's so
awesome.
fun about it is like the new investors, the newbies, as we call them, they start we had this conversation at one of your meetups where they were all hanging out in one area, and you're like, you went to all the guys that are doing deals, and you go get those guys and let's bring them in. Let's get these new guys and start doing deals with them and finding out what do they need in their business. Right. And I think the conversation that you had was, please go to my new people and say to them, what do you need from me to be successful in business? And that's the whole mentality behind everything that we're trying to do here. Is how do we take a room full of people and make sure that these people are doing deals together, whether it's learning about disposition or whether it's, dude, I would love to go on a ride along and I don't know what our first state would be, our first city would be. I think we have some people already kind of chirping in his ear. But
yeah, we got some people, but we'd love to hear from you in Orlando, Tampa, Atlanta, any of these towns, like any of these, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, North Carolina, Salem, wherever. Right. We're just reach out if you feel like there's the necessity or the energy isn't right. Yeah. Tag us, tag your RIA, we're coming.
I think just to paint a picture for people that don't quite understand that is that, let's say that we fly in on Thursday and we go to a RIA on Thursday. We want to hang out, meet other investors in that local area, and then the following Friday, maybe Saturday, I want to go on ride-alongs. I want to go into appointments, or I want to go into somebody's acquisition department and say, give me your 10 worst leads. I want to call them live right now and show you how I pitch a subject to. Meanwhile, Jamil's sitting there teaching their team how Keegley, who does close to 100 deals a month, how they do dispo. We want to bring our skills and our abilities to the table and see what we can do to help other people's businesses in other markets.
Yeah, and I would say that if you're in a market where you feel like your RIA is not able to do this,
do the meetup yourself. Yeah,
create a meetup. Absolutely.
Because one of the feedback I've gotten at our meetups is that I'm so glad that I can go to a RIA where I'm not being pitched. Because I think part of the reason why they're so standoffish, or like, you know, their arms are crossed, is because they're just getting ready to be sold something.
Right.
There's, I mean, especially, you know, all the different RIAs I've gone to locally, it's just feel like, all right, when's the sales pitch coming?
Right.
You know,
Who's got a book?
Who's got a book?
Ours are so
Who's
weird.
got a course?
Yeah, we don't do that.
You have like you have a meetup, and then there's a meetup outside of your meetup.
Yeah.
It's just like a high school dance. It's
Yeah.
like the dance was cool and everybody's having a good time, and then they say, okay, we're shutting this down. You guys need to leave, and everybody goes in the parking lot and hangs out and does deals together.
Right.
It is crazy fun.
Yeah, so I think that for you guys here, that if you guys have a great RIA, fantastic. If you guys don't have one, start one, because just kind of the message we're talking about here, just being the leader and being the one with the abundant mindset, you will be the one that has the success if you're finding that your RIA is not so open or receptive to this idea.
Be the Steve Trang of your town. Like,
Really?
for real.
Right.
Well, just following the examples from a lot of other people. But I think that also goes back to, you know, the books you talked about, going back and reading books.
Yep.
Because I think the abundance mindset as a leadership principle, and I posted something a couple of nights ago, right? That guy just jumping around, bouncing, whatever.
So good.
But I did my best to write the skills in the order that you need it in. And the skills, like, you know, the first, our evolution is we're trying to find deals. Like, God, how do I find a seller?
Right.
Then after I find a seller, how do I get them on the phone? After I get them on the phone, how do I close them? Now I've closed them, how do I make that repeatable? Now that I made it repeatable, how do I build an organization to make that repeatable? And then after that, it's how do I keep the people there to not be my competition? And leadership is that last step, I think, the most valuable skill. But I think that is the abundance comes with the leadership. And if you guys want to, you know, have this successful RIA, you got to have that abundance mindset to lead your community.
100%.
We had this idea one time. I don't know if we'll still do this or not, but we had this idea about having a competition between Jamil and I, where we go into a random city, we get rid of our existing phone. You just give me a burner phone, like we're drug dealers.
I think this is. I know where you're going. Continue, but I love this idea.
Right, and we have a competition to see who gets the first wholesale deal with no resources that we currently have.
Yep.
Money, knowledge, whatever. And me utilizing my resources here and him utilizing his resources there. Completely two different flavors. And then having people follow us and learn how to do a deal. Like, if I'm a newbie and I'm watching us, just boom, getting deals, it breaks the paradigm that people have of, hey, this is really hard.
If two dudes fly into your town with nothing,
right,
no resources, no contacts, nothing.
No Instagram, huh?
No Instagram. I mean, we're talking burner phones, and are able to put together a deal in a couple of days. I mean, that should blow the socks off of anyone who's been doing this for 9 months and hasn't gotten their first deal yet. And nothing against you guys. If you're sitting there listening right now, you're like, that's me. It's like, that's cool. But that's just, it's there to show you that, hey, it's whatever you're doing right now, you're creating your own limitation. You're stopping yourself. Right. We literally could do that. We could walk into a city in 2 days, we'd have a deal.
I have no doubt that you could do that. But it's that years and years.
Do you think I would get a deal faster or Jamil? Be honest. He's been doing this way longer than me, and he's way smarter.
Jamil's just a lot more likable.
100%.
I think what would happen is Pace would have like a few contracts, but he wouldn't be able to sell them. And
I'd have to call Jamil and be like, hey, can you sell my deal?
I'd get one contract and I'd sell it.
Is that what we should do the competition? Is that
it's got to be sold, bro.
Contract to dispo.
Yeah,
done.
It's not a deal if it's not a check.
All right.
Right?
Because I'd just go knock on a random door.
Of course you would be like, how can I solve your problems? I'm Pace Morby and I'm here to solve everything, and that's awesome. He will.
Well, that's dude. Do you think that'd be a good idea?
I think it's a great idea. I think that's probably the first thing you should do when you guys fly into a city.
You know what's fun is that at some point, I don't know when this transition was. I got to think about it. But at some point, how many deals I'm doing on a monthly basis was no longer important.
Right.
It's how many people I'm helping get their first deal is super important.
Yeah.
So whether I'm making money or not, there's a couple guys. Scott Bigelow, nobody quite knows him in wholesale, but he's trying to break into wholesale. They got a couple of deals recently. I didn't make any money on it, but I was so proud, and I put it on my Instagram, like, these guys are making money on a ride-along, getting some knowledge, and going off and doing deals. All I wanted was the emotional income. Just give me a pat on the back and attaboy, and tell me I did a good job. I have so much more pride in that than doing 30 deals a month.
I know, that's still crazy to me. Because you spoke about it at Wholesaling Live, Elizabeth and Charles' event, which is a fantastic event.
Oh, yeah.
We got to hang out.
Shout outs, guys.
But you're like, yeah, I just want emotional income. I was like, that guy's crazy.
Yeah.
But is he?
No,
I mean,
it's a great ROI.
We've all been filling our cup with emotional
Yeah.
income for the last, year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
And that to me is what is keeping my life exciting. Well, how many cars can you have? How many things can you buy?
At least 20.
Well, I mean, but even then it's boring, right? It's
No, it is
boring.
tired, for
It's
sure.
super boring. But
Yeah.
like, how many times can I see Corbin, his little girl's face and smile? A billion. And anytime I see it, it's going to be like the first, right?
And for these that don't know, that aren't following these guys, Jamil is Corbin's godfather.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? I mean, that's the epitome, I think, of collaboration.
Right.
That's awesome, dude.
Love you, bro.
Love you, buddy.
So, all right. So I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions here. Charles wants to know what meditation routine are you following?
Oh, I love it. So I download an app called Insight Timer. You can essentially download it for free. There's no cost. And there's hundreds of thousands of meditations on there. So I like to mix it up. I'll basically do like a guided one day, and then another day it'll just be like timed. There's a group called StressFit, StressFit, StressFit. They're a channel on that app. The meditations there are just amazing. I typically do between 30 to 45 minutes in the morning.
I feel so bad
before anything else, right? So I wake up, I drink coffee, do my thing, and then like it's into the room, and I just get still for that time, and everything else that happens for me in the day is flowering from that place, right? And that's not to say, guys, I'm walking around like a monk being a complete weirdo, right? I still have like breakdowns. I still get irritated. Things happen, but my reaction to situations is completely different today than it was 5 years ago. Absolutely.
Yeah. Charles Southwick says his RIA no longer exists. And Charles, I think, going back to what I was saying earlier, I think this is fantastic, because when I started my meetup, it was really simple. I called all my friends. Jamil spoke at the first one.
I did, man. Can you believe the first Real Estate Disruptors meetup?
How many people came to your first one?
There was like 30.
30.
I walked in with my coffee cup.
So what I did is I just went to meetup.com, created one, put it as a monthly recurring so I don't have to think about it again. Reached out to a few friends, posted on Facebook. We started with 30. We're at 110 to 140 pretty consistently now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems like every time every time you have an event, I feel like it's my event. Like I get to share it. It's awesome. Every time you have another event, you have to change venues probably once a quarter because of how fast it's growing.
Yeah, we're on our fourth
venue.
Fourth or fifth venue right now.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the goal is to get it to fill up the Suns Arena, I think.
That's great.
That would be pretty tight.
That'd be cool.
Charles, I think that's a great thing. If you feel like your town is locked out.
Honestly, if it's just a meetup, it doesn't have to be a RIA. If another local investor, even a newbie, who cares? Like, if you've never done a deal before, let's get 20, 30 people together and let's have a hangout. And let's talk about how we're getting our deals and how we can help each individual person get their first deal, or, magnify how many deals they can get on a monthly basis.
And I think, just to add on to that whole collaboration mindset, I was already familiar with wholesale, but Jamil mentored me a lot further. I took what I knew about wholesale and poured a lot into my cup.
Dude, can you even imagine how many people you indirectly help because of this show?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then
that's crazy to me.
I was a terrible closer forever, and then I meet with Pace, and just to get more deals, just to get more business. I wasn't trying to get better at sales. And Pace is saying, well, there's this place where all his home investors that guy hang out.
Right.
I said, what? And so I hounded you because you didn't just tell me right off the bat, and I had to pull it out of you.
Right.
But because of our relationship, I get to meet Brad. I get all the training, and now I'm a sales coach.
Oh my gosh.
And I took one of my greatest weaknesses into one of my greatest strengths.
It's fun watching your students because, we're really good friends. So your students will call me.
Yeah.
And I tell you to have them call me. I'll take them on ride-alongs. I'll have conversations with them. It is so fun to hear them talk about them getting their first deal, their second deal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Dude, you realize how cool this is?
Incredible.
Right.
It's just like a mushroom.
It is
It's
amazing.
a mushroom cloud.
But I don't level up if we're not creating relationships.
Right.
If we don't come in with an abundance mindset. And it's not just the three of us. There's more of us, right? I mean, there's Jesse, Annie, Evil, Brandon. There's a whole bunch of us. We're all getting better. Our group is getting better because we're all helping each other.
Right.
So, the message I want to impart on Charles and some of these other guys is that the sooner you level up and raise the abundance mindset, the more other people can pour into you.
Right. How would we pick the city? How are we going to do that?
So I guess it's going to have to be from just audience participation, right? So the more people that reach out to us from a specific town, the more need we're going to feel exists there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And guys, this isn't going to be a thing that's going to cost the RIA anything. It's like we're going to come out there and serve. But
that's a good point, because a lot of people ask us all the time, well, how much are you charging for this, and how much do you charge for your ride-alongs? I do it all for free.
Yeah, we're coming to serve, guys. This is like we are coming to serve, and so let's remove that from the equation, and let's see. Tag your friends, get your friends. Do you want us in your town? Do you want us to come and show you guys how to get your first deal? Do you want us to come and show you guys how to be friends with each other and work together in an appropriate way? Tag us. Have your friends tag us. Let us know what town you're coming from, and we will figure it out from there. And I think, let's say in the next 30 days, keep your eyes open, and we'll start announcing cities and dates. Yeah. We've already got Salem, North Carolina, scheduled.
Wow.
Yep.
That's Max Maxwell.
Mr.
Country.
Max Maxwell.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're gonna make that one of our stops. Also, we're kicking off in Bama.
Yeah, Brian Tripp's event.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah. So shout out Brian. That's in a couple of days.
We're flying out to Birmingham. We're hanging out with some pretty amazing people. Brian Tripp, dude, thanks for inviting me, by the way.
100%.
I appreciate it.
This is what this is about.
And then we're going to be doing ride-alongs on Sunday, which will be pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's see. What are some other questions?
Roll Tide.
There was. So Josh Pardoa wants to know, what is your best advice for staying consistent as a one-man show?
Does he want? Let's ask him a question back. Does he want to stay a one-man show?
Right. Become a two-man show.
Right. Because there are people that are like, look, I'm happy where I'm at. I just want to be more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to understand if that's where he wants to be. That's one piece of advice. Or if the other piece of advice is, I want to grow a team. I just don't know how.
Yeah.
Right. So have him reply back. Is there another question we can?
All right, Josh. So we need a follow-up question on that. And Annie is requesting that you guys all bring her along.
Oh, Annie's always invited.
Yes.
She's the best.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, she's the great mom that puts us all together. Keeps us
sure.
responsible. Although she is a little bit of a troublemaker too.
She is a troublemaker. Always playing pranks and whatnot.
And Antoine's requesting DC naturally.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
that makes a lot of sense.
I would love to hang
Billion
out with Antoine.
%.
Dude, you guys did such a good job on his show yesterday.
That's awesome. What's up, Antoine?
Here, I'll while you're looking for questions, I'll answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to stay a solopreneur, here's what a solopreneur as a wholesaler. What I would do personally, just because this works for me really well, is I would go and collaborate with probate attorneys, not as an investor, but as a problem solver. So most of the deals that I get, I'll actually put a video of this up on my Instagram, but the best deal I got this year came from a probate attorney. Shout out Rylas. Rylas is amazing. He follows most of what I do. But it came from somebody. He'll call me and go, I have this weird thing where somebody needs to sell a car, right? And I don't know what to do with it. Great. I'm not just a real estate investor. I'm a problem solver. So what's the problem? I'll help them locate a buyer. I'll help them do this. I'll help them do that, because I'll solve 6 problems unrelated to real estate for his clients, and then I'm going to get a deal out of it.
Yeah.
Right? I got a deal. You guys probably saw the yellow bug that was on my Instagram.
Did you give it away?
We gave it away to an autistic kid, and I didn't announce it because he asked me not to.
Awesome.
So just for anybody that's on there, we handed him the keys. He didn't have a car to get to work. He's on the spectrum. He is pretty high functioning, but he didn't have a car, and so we got him a car and hooked him up.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That car came free with a home purchase that I made $35,000 assignment on from a probate attorney. And if I had no resources, I had no money, I had nothing else, I would go in and I would solve probate attorneys' problems, not go in and say, I'm a real estate investor. I'm a everybody's a cash buyer.
Right.
Everybody.
Yep.
Go in there and come up with a solution. And I have 18 of them. I have them in my phone. If anybody wants to hear them, I will tell you all 18 of those problems that I solve for probate attorneys' clients, non-related to the house.
Right.
And so we bought a deal, funny enough, last year we had an attorney goes, hey, you came in my office and you told me that you guys do locksmithing. Yeah, we do locksmithing. I'm not a locksmith. I just called my locksmith.
Right.
But here's what happened. He had a locksmith who's Jewish, and a lot of locksmiths for some reason are Jewish here in Arizona. They don't work Saturday. So he has a client that they're sitting there referring to their normal locksmith, doesn't reply, calls me, hey, I've got a client that's going down the property. I need your help. I go, no problem. I call Papa Lock. I drive down there and meet Papa Lock and meet the seller. And what do I say? What are you doing with the house?
Yeah.
We made $37,000 on that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Solving a problem for people without the thought process. So I would say there's 600 probate attorneys in the state of Arizona, or not state of Arizona, Maricopa County, and there's 800 probates that happen every single month. As a solopreneur, I could just go out and do 10 deals a month just by attaching to probate attorneys and solving their problems, not doing cash offers.
Right.
Hopefully that helps.
Not send me your deals.
These are like I have 100 tips like that I cannot wait to tell people across the country.
Devin Burr wants to know, how do you guys build an out-of-state buyers list?
Ooh, that's a great question for you, bro.
The same way we build one in state. It's a lot of data mining, right? So if you guys have ever watched anyone who's done a walkthrough of Keegley, we got that little secret room that people keep chirping about.
It's really dark.
I've never been in there. I heard it has whips and chains.
There's light bulbs in there.
There's no light bulbs in there.
There's light bulbs.
Oh, there are now?
There's windows, yeah. Shh, guys, I'm going to start getting complaints. No, and there's lots of Little Caesars pizza. But no, what we do is the same process, right? So we are reaching out on social media. We are looking at key indicators like what pages are these people liking? Do they like Rolex, Ferrari, and medical equipment? Awesome. I probably know I have a doctor on my hands with high disposable income. I'm going to send that person an outreach message and find out, are they interested in real estate investing, and would they be interested in buying properties with instant equity?
Right.
The answer to that question from anybody who understands money is going to be yes. Right, and so that's what we're doing. We're really looking at key indicator factors, like what are the things that these people like. Then we paint a picture. We make a profile of who these people are. We do an outreach, and we bring them into the stable. Once they're in the stable, then it's relationship building. So the buck doesn't stop there. I had a conversation with Javier and some of Raphael's people last night, and we were talking about, he asked me if there was one piece of advice that you could give me on how to really help the Dispo team. I'd say go deep. Have your team go deep. Transactional conversations are terrible.
Yeah.
Right? Like, nobody cares, man. Nobody cares what deal you have. No one. Everyone's too busy doing what they're doing in the day. How are you going to impact somebody's filter? The things that they're pushing out of their sphere of attention. How are you going to do that? But by them caring that you're calling them. There's 15 buyers that I cannot shake, that I cannot make work with anybody in my team because they refuse to buy from anyone but Jamil.
Yeah.
So I still have to sell houses. Even though that's not what I do, that's like what my team does. I'm still working to do that because those people need to be served. So, yeah, man, take a look. Make sure you're paying attention to the things that they're liking. Reach out and then go deep.
Carl's asking about the 18 solutions, so I think maybe if you reach out to Pace later on, what's your Instagram handle?
Pace J Morby.
Pace J Morby.
Here's what I'll do. This Saturday, Jamil, actually, are we staying in the...
Yep.
You're letting me bunk with you?
I think so.
Did they for the hotel room?
I don't know. We'll get something.
Have Jamil record the video or something, and I'll upload it on Instagram.
Oh, it's gonna be a redo of Dallas. No.
Oh my god! You know what? Here's what I'll do on Sunday night. Here's a selfless plug. On Sunday night, I do a Sunday service call. So Sunday night, 7 p.m. Arizona time, I have an hour-long phone call with my business partner Cody and myself, and what we do is we just tell everybody for free the deals we did, where they came from, how we're making money, what we're doing with them, are we doing subject to, blah 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 blah, and then we open it up to Q&A. What I'll do this Sunday is I will tell everybody the 18 problems that I solve for probate attorneys on that Sunday service call.
Beautiful.
And Farhad Haryani wants to know, is texting for deals legal? I'm not going to have you guys answer that question. You need to talk to an attorney. Is it happening? 100%. Is it legal? You want to get an attorney's opinion on that. You wouldn't want ours. Greg Ballard wants to know, you're door knocking pre-foreclosures. When you're door knocking, are you letting the seller know the house is in foreclosure?
Yes, 100%. Here's the opening line when we knock doors, because we have a door knocking team and we're going out, and that's the other thing that I'm planning on teaching people is how to go get your first deal by door knocking. Jamil and I maybe do ride-alongs, and I'll knock doors with people. So the first thing that I say to a seller when we walk up to the door is I say, excuse me, I'm aware that you're getting called 1,000 times. I'm sure I'm the 15th person that's knocked on your door. However, I have 7 ways to solve this problem for you, and the first 4 involve you staying in the property. That's my opening line. Mm-hmm. So 100%. I don't dance around it. Anybody that goes on a ride along with me, I will flat out, like, if anybody saw my IG live yesterday, like, I'm at a seller's house yesterday, and I have the IG live. Did you guys see this? I was in an appointment, and I'm like, I go, hey ma'am, you're on IG live, and I'm just blatantly talking about her popcorn shirt, and I go, yeah, my followers love your popcorn shirt, right? I will just go right to it with the seller. Mm-hmm. And so it's the same thing with knocking pre-foreclosures. 100% full transparency. My sales pitch requires 0 games.
Yeah. And
I felt really icky taking other people's scripts, right? What I like about the scripts that you and my team follow is I don't feel icky when I do it. Because I truly am guiding them to a solution. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not going to the house and saying, excuse me, I'm in the neighborhood and I know my cousin wants to buy your house. I just flat out tell them, hey, I have 7 solutions.
Yeah.
I know you're being inundated. I know you're in a stressful situation. Let's talk for 2 minutes. Talk to me through the screen door. But yeah, that 100%.
Carl wants to know, where do you post your Sunday service call?
So if you go
service call,
Sunday service. Where that comes from is I love Kanye West, and Kanye West does a Sunday service every Sunday. He just does a concert like a gospel music, and I just love Kanye West. It's just us giving and being abundance mindset. I post the link on my Instagram every Saturday and Sunday, just telling everybody it's a free phone call. I can tell everybody the phone number, but I'll post it somewhere.
Yeah. And then Cody says zero filter is accurate.
Yeah, zero filter, 100%.
Yeah, you'll hear all about Korean barbecue and the results.
100%, yeah, the results of Korean barbecue.
And there's I was laughing about if you were serious. You want to repeat that?
Serious about what?
I don't know.
If you're a serious seller.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I told the seller the other day. I said, she goes, yeah, this happened in an appointment. The seller goes, well, I need to talk to my 15-year-old, or I need to talk to my kids and see what their opinion is. And I said, okay, well, if we're going to play games, why don't I just take my number and drop $20,000? She's, I'm not playing games. I said, yes, you are. You're playing games. You're 30 years old. You don't need permission to sell your house. Flat out told her to that. And I record all my conversations with the sellers. And then I post them on Instagram so other people can hear them. So if you guys want to hear our appointments with sellers, we ended up getting that deal. And the way we got that deal is that lady just needed to be flat out told. And same thing yesterday or Monday, we got a contract on a mobile home, and the seller goes, I want $70,000. So we get to the property, and I go, okay, so if somebody was able to come up to $70,000, what would be the next step, right? That's the closing line. That's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, I've got to call my husband. I go, interesting. So you guys already made a decision to sell it at 70. I go, is your husband maybe another buyer? Because why don't you just call the buyer right now? I'll wait for you.
Yeah.
I'll just wait. And if they're willing to go up to a higher number, let's figure it out. But I'm here, and I've got a contract, and I'll go take it down to title right now. So she calls the other buyer. She goes, yeah, you're right. It's another buyer. Shocking.
Liars.
So I just called it right out as it is, and I just said, look, it's okay. Let's just have an honest conversation. I won't see you in 45 minutes. So let's hurry this process up and not play games with each other. And she goes, wow, I really appreciate this. This is like refreshing. Yeah. So she calls the other person and goes, hey, you didn't show up. I'm probably just going to sell the house to this other guy. Are you willing to come up on your price? And the other person goes, yes, but I want to see the house. She goes, okay, done. Hangs up, signs the contract with us. But if I didn't
Easy.
understand how to call that person out, what would have happened is I would have felt insecure about my number, and I would have said, okay, well, I'll give you 75 grand. And now I'm desperation, I'm commission breathing all over this person, and now I'm bidding myself up because I don't just call out the problem as it really is. Look, ma'am, obviously it's not your husband, it's another buyer.
Yeah.
Let's just call him right now and I'll wait for you.
And guys, watch your tone when you guys are using any of these lines with people.
Oh,
because
yeah. This is not
if
my
you
normal
don't
tone,
say,
by the way.
if you say it,
tonality is really
just-
important. So,
yeah.
and I think that part of it too. For me, I liken it to. We were talking about this on Monday. You know, I've put in over 10,000 hours at the poker table, right?
Right.
At the poker table, I know when you're doing something. I have a pretty good idea what that means. I know when to do, what to do,
Right.
what to do, when to do it. And I think that's the same thing. Your first time you were on the show, we talked about the reason why you want to go on all these appointments is you just wanted to get better
Still,
in the house.
to this day,
Right.
I'm going on appointments with my acquisition people. I didn't set that appointment. My team is doing that, but I look at the calendar. I go, I want to go to that one. I want to go to that one. And my wife goes, you probably at some point should kind of slow down on how many appointments you're going on. I go, I got to keep the axe sharp.
Well, and that's the reason why you can say your husband sounds like a buyer,
Right.
right? Whereas a newer guy says that,
Right.
and it's like, no, it's a real husband.
Right.
Things get really interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, that's bad advice. I
No,
feel
it's
bad.
great advice. It's just, it's the repetitions, it's the experience.
Right.
So, and then Josh elaborated. So, how to stay consistent as a solopreneur?
So that's where I would go, and that's another question too, right? Here's the other question. Anytime I'm talking to a newbie, somebody that comes and does a ride along with me, I ask them at the very beginning, what do you want to learn today? Because I can talk. That's my one thing I don't have a problem with is talking, right? Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
So I have no problem talking. So I'm going to fill.
Don't say it.
Sorry. So I'm going to fill your day with whatever you want. If it's subject to, if it's door knocking, whatever it is that we're good at as a company, I want to make sure I fill your day, which is typically 12 hours straight of you in my car going on appointments. I mean, they're meeting with my attorney. They're meeting with my partners. They're meeting on construction sites, going on buyer appointments, everything. What do you want to know? Because in between appointments, I'm going to fill your noggin with all that knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So the first question I ask is, do you have money or do you not have money? But I'm going to answer this as if you don't have money, because I think most people that are listening to your show are trying to get started.
Mm-hmm.
If I have no money and I want to get started, the two ways as a solopreneur to get super consistent without spending any money is, other than gas, right? You got to go to the probate attorney's office. That's number one. Number two is I would door knock pre-foreclosures.
Yeah.
We're doing like 4 contracts a week on pre-foreclosure. I mean, you see how many files we're opening with your title company. We are absolutely crushing it. Our team is amazing. Our door knocking team, or I consider him a partner, is Matthew Beard, and Matthew Beard runs our whole door knocking team. And I am surprised if we don't get 2 or 3 contracts in a week. Surprised. Yeah. So there are so many deals out there, and our cost basis to get in the door and our cost basis to talk to these people is almost zero, other than gas.
And talking about collaboration, Matthew Beard is another guy that came through my coaching program.
All right.
Did he really?
Yeah. So it's just this circle that feeds
Thank
each other.
you, bro.
So
thank you.
Anyway, you were
consistency though. I want to distill that down, because I think what he's trying to do is just like figure out a step process, right?
Right.
Routine, man. Like, be unapologetically stuck to your routine.
Mm-hmm.
There should be nothing that shakes that from you. So map out your ideal day. What time are you going to wake up, and wake up at that time? Are you going to use the restroom? Time that. You're going to drink coffee? Time that. What's the next thing you're going to do? Are you going to do some form of, personal development, some kind of clearing of your mind so that you're in a good state? Then pick 3 activities for the day. Do what Pace said. Call probate attorneys and figure out how you can help them solve their problems. One I love is call for rent by owners, right? For rent by owners are amazing opportunities for you to get out there and get deals. They're free. You don't got to buy data. You don't have to buy a dialer. You go on Zillow.com and find for rent by owners in your city. You'll know they're by owner because there won't be a real estate logo with the listing. There's just going to be some dude named Amy, some girl named Amy, and her phone number there, right? And so, and then, another thing they could do is drive for dollars, right? Pick 3 things, make them a part of your routine, be unapologetic, and do not ever stray from that routine. Jesse Burrell tried to have us all meet what was that, 2 weeks ago at the batch office, and I told you guys, and you guys are the highest level people I know. And I'm in that text thread, and they're like 9 a.m., and it's like confirmed. Sorry, guys, I can't because I have to go exercise at that time. And it's like everyone must have been thinking, okay, Jamil, you're going to exercise, but I'm sorry, if I don't do that, my entire routine is bumped.
Right.
I can't bump my routine.
That's a really good point.
Because I love you guys so much. I want to be my best self when I show up to that meeting. Mm-hmm. So, no, it's got to be 10 o'clock. And that's it.
And for you guys that weren't in that room, I did have a conversation with both of these guys about respecting my time.
He did.
Love it.
But yeah, I think to add on to that, the consistency, right? I think if you haven't picked up the book yet, Josh, is Miracle Morning. Like Jamil did an amazing job summarizing it in a couple of minutes, but if you want to go into greater detail, I think Miracle Morning is great.
Another point on that real quick is that if I'm a solopreneur, I don't know what market he's in, but I would also go to these meetups or even create a meetup on your own. And instead of you knocking doors or going to probate attorneys on your own, go with somebody else, right? And say, hey, do you want to pal around? Let's hang out, because it's more fun to collaborate and talk while you're in the car and eat lunch with somebody else and talk shop the whole time.
Yep.
Even if talking shop is like, have you ever done a deal? No. I've never done a deal either. Great. Let's go get our first deal together. I would find somebody in your local market that you want to build a friendship with and go do those things together, even though you're not partners.
Right.
We do that stuff all the time in Phoenix, where we just tell people, hey, come over to our office. Come do this. Let's go hang out. Hey, everybody, we're going and having a lunch. And we just collaborate and hang out. So I would do that as well, because accountability of having another person involved is going to keep you consistent.
We know that.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
We're accountability partners for business.
Yep.
We're accountability partners for running.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
100%. Let's see if there's any other questions here. I think Sonia's reliving the time where I busted out of the tournament with the pocket aces.
Nice.
So Elizabeth wants you guys to come now
To Houston?
to Houston.
We would love.
love
We
Houston.
want to go
Her-
back to Houston.
her very first meetup. So I guess she's doing an official one.
Oh my
You
gosh,
guys
we
need
should.
to-
We
It's gonna
love
be
Elizabeth
great.
so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
You guys need to christen that one
She's
Yep.
so great.
for
Yep.
sure.
Let us know, Elizabeth.
So guys, keep firing away on your questions. Is there a book or a resource? I know we talk about it, right? We're preaching on the abundance mindset. Is there a book or resource that you would? I guess Go Giver probably is the one.
Go Giver's a great one. I mean, I think the simple stuff is like the real. There's one book I read. I think it's Jen Cicero, I believe, is her name, and it's called "You're a Badass." It's written. I think it might even be written like for women. I didn't know that when I bought it, but I read it, and it made me cry a couple times. I got to say, like, it was great. It was fantastic. There was a lot of really great nuggets in there. I always tell people that are beginning their journey in entrepreneurship, read that book. Read Think and Grow Rich. Again, another fantastic book that really talks about how to just change your thoughts, right? Be protective of your thoughts.
Thoughts are things.
And 100%, right? And if you can just start the journey with the most simple approaches, like those few books, they will serendipity will take over, and you will find yourself in situations and other learning capacities. You'll learn about some other great book from a friend who says, "Oh, wow, I didn't know you were into that stuff. Let me tell you about this great book I'm reading," and your knowledge will grow.
Yeah. I would say my favorite book for all this kind of stuff, it all floods into one thing, is understanding your own superpower, right? If I could surmise what my superpower is, it's opening minds when I open my mouth. And I wish I knew that when I was 25, because I would have been able to help a lot more people and I would have been a lot further in life. But the way I think a lot of people need to start figuring that out is reading the book Rocket Fuel.
Yeah.
Am I a visionary or am I an integrator? It doesn't mean you can't be a little bit of both, but what do you naturally want to do? And then go hire out those other things and go focus on that one thing. You're going to be a lot more consistent because you naturally want to do those things, right? I don't naturally want to sit in front of Excel and punch out numbers. That's not what I naturally want to do. I naturally want to go out and talk to people and solve their problems. So I need to go find those other tasks to be offloaded. So the guy who asked the question about being a solopreneur, what are you? Are you an integrator or are you a visionary? Right?
Yeah,
Focus on that, and then you're going to be a lot more consistent because you're going to have a lot more fun during the day doing what you naturally want to do.
100%. And to add on to that collaboration theme, I think one of the things that we mentioned before kind of like crystallized our friendship was Dallas. We live at Max Maxwell's event, but I was the only one speaking.
Right.
Yeah.
It was only about me, and you guys all came along to hang out.
Right.
Yep.
Right. I mean,
Support.
Somebody had to hold your camera, bro.
So I wanted to clap and watch you wear that suit.
Yeah, you look good.
So, but I think that's like the greatest example, right? You guys had nothing to gain, right? You guys just want to come, hang out, and see your buddy speak on stage.
Right.
So, I think that's the best proof I can think of. That's why we're talking about like collaboration. Just taking
100%.
time out of your schedule, paying for your own airfare, paying for your own hotel, just to hang out.
It is weird when you actually say it out loud.
Yep.
Yeah.
We just came to show love, man.
Yeah.
That's, when's the last time you did that in your town?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Really
think that
good
does
point.
make a very big difference. To see what else there is.
I can't wait. I actually would love to see Elizabeth again. I mean, she's amazing. That whole event was so well put together.
So the door knocking script that you kind of said earlier, if there was a way you can put that in some sort of a script. The thing is, you're not really a script guy.
Yeah, he's saying that he doesn't like scripts, right?
Yeah.
He wants you to get in there and be you, and ask questions and figure out how you can solve problems. I think that's the script.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll walk through, maybe I'll do a video. I'm knocking doors on Tuesday next week with my team. We've got some new people coming on board that we just recruited. So I'll go out and I'll actually do some recordings for the first line when you first talk to people, because as crappy as the audio is, it's nice to be able to hear it and feel what it really feels like to be on somebody's. You're going to hear our footsteps. You're going to hear us like rummaging through our phone, or our pocket. You're going to hear all the raw audio. But I would love for people to hear that first 30-second interaction.
Yeah.
And I can give people all the statistics on door knocking of what it looks like and how many doors you have to knock to get your first deal and all that kind of stuff. We can do that in another conversation. But if Jamil and I come out to your town, I'll walk you through all of that stuff.
Perfect. Awesome. So I want to wrap this up here, but we already dropped some massive nuggets, but I want to give you an opportunity to leave one last one, and an opportunity to leave one last one as I make a couple of quick announcements. So guys, next month, I'm finishing the year off in New Orleans with Chris Rude for Skillathon, December 6th through 8th. If you guys want to check that out, is bit.ly/2019skill. And then in April, Jamil and I are going to be in DC for Antoine Campbell's event.
Oh my gosh,
For the
DC.
for the trip event, the double revenue, increased profits. So definitely check that out. And then Max and I, we have our, I guess just to add again, on collaboration. So like Max Mendez and I, we have our own business, that we have our own coaching program. And I reached out to you, and I reached out to Jesse Burrell. I said, guys, I have this coaching program. I'm bringing some of our higher level students in once a quarter. Would you guys mind just sitting in the room with us for a day, 4 times a year?
Right.
And there was no let me think about it. There was no I don't know. They're like, hell yeah, just let us know when. Not asking for anything in return.
That was a great sandwich that you fed us, by the way.
Yeah,
Those were amazing
Those
Those are amazing.
And
sandwiches.
I had a lot of fun. I took
Taylor.
took Taylor around to 3 of my Subject 2 houses that were under construction, and I walked through how we bought it, where the source came from, how we funded it, and how much money we were making on the back end. Showed him paperwork, showed him everything. Dude, I would do that for nobody else's students other than you.
Yeah, and Max and I definitely appreciate it. So, guys, we're doing our next event January 10th through 12th. You guys want to check that out, make 2020 your year. Go to disruptors.com and see if the workshop will make sense for you. This coming Friday, so 2 days from today, we got Cody Hoffline from Salt Lake City.
Wow. He's amazing.
And then we got Charles Hernandez and Michael Yanes coming in from San Antonio next Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. With that being said, last thoughts.
Watch your heart. I think that's the key. You have to really be self-aware and watch your heart, and be relentlessly truthful about it. Don't make excuses up. Don't justify. If whatever it is, call it as it is. Whatever you're seeing in there, be accepting of it. It's there for a reason. You're not wrong for feeling a way. You're not evil for thinking or getting jealous or any of the things that might be happening, but be relentlessly honest. As soon as you can point your finger on what it is that's like causing you to not have that abundance mindset or not be able to really care or be joyful for other people's success, once you've identified what that root is, think of the exact opposite and focus there.
I love it.
That's so good. That's so good. For me, it's unquestionable. Last piece of thing is a thank you. I told you this morning during our run, I said, Steve, you have impacted me and my family so much. I get people, like when I'm on stage or I'm talking to somebody, I go, who watches Steve Trang's podcast? And if there's one hand in that audience that doesn't go up, I'm like, you can learn every piece of this business by watching this show.
Yep.
And this show, even at our level of we're actively doing deals, you just from this show and the people from the show that I've been networked with, I will make an extra $1 million this year and many,
100%.
many more millions in the future. You, dude, thank you. You have changed my life, and you've impacted my family's life. Thank you so much.
It's been an honor. It's been an incredible journey, and I think for you guys that are watching, just to add to it, right? Like you partnered up with one of the guys from the show.
Yes.
And someone else reached out to you to partner up with you.
Right.
So 2 of your partners are a result of this show.
Yes.
So,
Eric Sage, who is one of my favorite people in the world, we own assisted living business together because of your show. I watched his show. I reached out to him. Well,
you texted me and were like, hey, what's Eric Sage's phone number?
Right. Yeah. I was like, who knows this guy's phone number? I need to hang out with him. Number one, he liked golf. And number two, he was doing creative financing. So I reached out to him, sat down with him, and we became partners.
Yep.
We just set up 2 facilities that are cash flowing right now, and we're like hands off on this stuff. And in less than a year, I became the guy across the country that people ask me questions on how to run assisted living.
Yeah.
That came from you. Isn't that crazy?
It is. It is crazy. And the reason I want to add this, right? Like, guys, it's not just enough to listen to the show. It's taking action, right? So, I think we're all pretty accessible. And so don't be afraid, like, just to listen.
Right.
You can do stuff with this information. So Cody reached out to you after watching the show.
Cody reached out to me.
And you guys are both crushing it now.
Right.
In that partnership.
You know what's interesting? So check this out. Sorry to belabor this. Who cares if we go long? Everybody knew Pace being on the show, we're going long. So Cody and I sit down in a McDonald's. He pulls out his laptop and he says, I'm great at creating leads. I'm not great at closing. Mm-hmm. He understood what his superpower was. And he says, I need to link in with you. And I go, dude, I just got out of a bad partnership. I don't want another partnership. And Cody, through action, convinced me over the course of maybe 2 months that he has a superpower. Yeah. He's unbelievably good at what he does. Mm-hmm. And he's getting better and getting better and getting better. He pulls out his laptop at a McDonald's. He gives me 10 warm leads, and the next day we're getting deals. I think he made like 40 grand on these deals, okay? Mm-hmm. He went from not getting deals but creating good leads to, boom, making 40 grand. So we get a deal. That person, we bought their house for 110 grand. That girl, her name's Desiree, invested $110,000 of that, all of that money into my Subject to business. We went and bought 5 houses with that $110,000.
Crazy.
Then they called me last night. I was with Greg, the guy who you referred me to, who's my business partner in Subject to. That same person called me and said, I have another house to sell you. So Cody and I, our first deal together, bro, you're the man. Thank you. Thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's absolutely my pleasure. It's awesome. Awesome to see what we've created.
Beautiful. It's gratitude, guys. For real.
It's amazing.
How can someone get a hold of you?
My number one thing is Instagram, and I have my personal cell phone on there. Right before the show started, somebody called me randomly from Maryland. Has to be Boston because they were saying all sorts of amazing. It sounded like
things like chowder.
Exactly. He goes, "Hey, I'm in a living room with a lady named Mary, and we're having trouble reaching an agreement."
No introduction.
And I go, "Hey, Mary, this is Pace. What's going on?" Right? So I go through the thing.
Crazy.
And I follow up after the phone call, and I follow up on Instagram. I go, "Was that helpful?" And he says, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I literally worked a deal for this guy in the living room with no introduction at all." So if you guys need help closing deals, reach out to my Instagram. My cell phone's on there. Text me, call me. I'm happy to help any way I can.
And your Instagram is?
Pace J Morby.
Yeah, I still think you're crazy with that.
My Instagram is JDAMJI, Follow me there. Follow our company at Keyglee, Keyglee. My phone number is on Instagram too. You can DM me, call me. We're like the dudes that reply. Yeah. So reach out, and I'd like to offer this as well. I offered it to Antoine's audience yesterday, and Steve, I'd love to offer it to yours. Anybody who sends me a DM and says they'd like to have like a 1-hour strategy session with me or someone from my team, no cost.
Wow.
We will sit down with you on the phone. We will sit with you for an hour. Talk to you about your business, run it down, get an understanding of what you're doing, really take inventory of the processes that you're currently working through, what the problems are, and then give you solutions. So if you want that 1-hour strategy session with us, DM me on my Instagram. There's no cost, and we'd love to help you.
I think that's the best way to end it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching.